Okay. Now I'll talk a little bit about myself, where I came from, who I am. I'm an immigrant, as I mentioned. I came to the United States in 2007 as a legal immigrant. That distinction is important, right? And so did my mother. And I'm originally from Bangladesh. Does anyone know where Bangladesh is?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a very small country, geographically very small, but has a huge population. You know, I think it's, just to be safe, it's over 160 million people. Could be 170, I don't know. I didn't check the latest numbers. So that's what, half of US population, maybe, in a country very small. And so what's interesting is if you look at the list of most spoken languages in the world, the top 10, you're gonna find Chinese, you're gonna find Spanish, English, and you're gonna find Bengali in number 7, just because of how many people there are in that country and spread out all over the world. I grew up, and there's a nice presentation that I do with PowerPoint slides where I talk about how Bangladesh came to be. It's a fairly new country. It became officially a country in 1971. And I talk about the history, how it was part of a former British colony, and how when the British left, India and Pakistan became 2 countries, and Bangladesh was East Pakistan prior to 1971. And then in 1971, there was a war between Bangladesh, East Pakistan, that region, and West Pakistan, and how Bangladesh became Bangladesh. So there's a presentation that I do talking about the history. So maybe at a future date I could talk about that, but I'm gonna skip that for now. My education has been based on a British curriculum. So I went to school, we had to wear uniform every day. Could not have a spot, shoes had to be clean, nails had to be short, hair couldn't be over a certain length. Very rigorous. And all the instruction, whether it was math or science or other subjects, were in English. We had to speak English in school as long as we were in the school premises, except for one period of Bengali, where we learned Bengali. So I came to the US in 2007, and the first thing I had to do is change all my spellings. Not all. Yes. You know, I would write color with C-O-L-O-U-R, labor with L-A-B-O-U-R. I got rid of the U's. I no longer call it a zebra crossing, I call it pedestrian crossing. I went to the mall and I asked somebody, not realizing, like, which way is the lift? And she was looking at me, what do you mean lift? It's not the lift that, you know, like Uber lift. It's the elevator. No longer boot of the car, it's the trunk of the car, right? And I could go on and on and on. So I changed all that. I came here getting an immigrant visa, which means I knew that right after I would arrive to the US, I would get a green card. Same case for my mother. So we got the green card right away, almost. And always wanted to be here in the US, land of opportunities, pursue the American dream. And I understood very much that with the immigrant visa, with the green card, it's a big privilege, great honor. But at the same time, it comes with very, very important responsibilities. And I'll give you one example. As long as you're a green card holder, you pretty much have all the rights of a US citizen except that you cannot vote. And there are certain federal jobs that you don't qualify for. You could work for the state, you could work for private companies. Some federal jobs that you have to be a US citizen. And so one of the requirements, and this is a very tiny one that can easily be overlooked by people in error, but very important, is as long as you're a green card holder and you have not yet become a citizen, if you have a change of address in the US, you're going to have to notify the United States Citizen and Immigration Services within 10 days that you have moved. I bet there are green card holders who don't know that or haven't done that. But what I want to explain to you is how serious it is. My mom and I were very serious about maintaining and following each and every law and rule. Out of respect, not out of fear. Of course, we follow laws and rules because we don't want to be in violation, but out of respect for the United States of America, who welcomed us to this country. So we respect the Constitution, we respect the rule of law, and we paid attention to each and every little bit of information. I had already completed 1 year of university in Bangladesh. So when I came to the US, I continued from my sophomore year, was able to transfer a lot of the credits, so that was great. I pursued a Bachelor of Arts degree in political science, and right after I was done my undergrad, got my degree, had the summer off. Very next semester, I was enrolled in graduate school. Some of you may know the La Follette School of Public Affairs. It's a school within UW-Madison. I was pursuing a degree, Master of Public Affairs. During my first year of grad school, I had a very prestigious fellowship, which was great. And I also worked as an intern at the Wisconsin Medical Society, which is the largest association of doctors in the state. I don't know how much the numbers have changed. I haven't kept up with the membership numbers, but they are a very powerful organization. I'm sure, Senator, you interact with them a lot. And one of the highlights from my project over there was I wrote a white paper on physician workforce. And this was in 2012 when we were talking about Affordable Care Act and what changes were coming and what was going to happen. And one of the important concerns in the medical community was, are there enough doctors in the state and in fact nationwide? There are various arguments. Some people say there are enough doctors, but they are not distributed. There are areas of high need and areas of high concentration, and some are saying there are not enough doctors, we need more doctors. So I did a comprehensive research looking at the physician workforce and produced a white paper, which I believe is still online on the organization's website. In my second year, I had a project assistantship with what's called the Evidence-Based Health Policy Project. What it is it's a partnership between my graduate school, the La Follette School, and the Wisconsin Legislative Council, which is one of the nonpartisan service agencies for the Wisconsin State Legislature. It's an organization, it's an office full of attorneys who help staff the different legislative committees, provide legal analysis that legislators ask for, and they do a lot of legal work. It's a law-heavy, legal analysis-heavy office. And the Population Health Institute. So my project involved doing a lot of research, providing service to the state legislature, and helping organize events that would bring researchers and legislators and the public together for evidence-based policymaking. So I did that during my second year in graduate school. One of the highlights, and I will share that, is in 2012, I'm not an attorney, I don't have a JD, but I worked with lawyers, and I did a lot of research on federal regulation, state regulation. So there was a study committee at the time. It had a long name. I'm forgetting the whole name, but in short, we called it the Alzheimer's Committee. They were looking at Alzheimer's and dementia issues. And one of the problems was In a nursing home, if there's an individual who is behaving aggressively, one of the residents, a senior citizen, if that individual harms somebody else, punches somebody in the face, there could be severe penalties for the nursing home. But as a response to that, the nursing home could call the police, have that person shipped out of the nursing home, and maybe have him or her stabilized in a hospital setting. But if that individual was gone for 30 days or more, the nursing home could close the bed.
Yeah.
I don't know how the law has changed now, but at the time, that was the concern. But for the senior citizen, any change in place for somebody with dementia, if you're shipping that person out using law enforcement officer and taking them to a place, that was harmful for them. And so I looked at the federal laws and regulations, which the state would then use to help shape policies. And I presented that memo live on Wisconsin Eye back in 2012 and answered some questions from the committee. And at the time, as a grad student, that was a great accomplishment to be live on TV, presenting legal analysis while not being a lawyer.